Welcome to the community garden. We're really very happy that you're coming here to garden with us. We are a nonprofit organization and we are all volunteer. There are no paid people at this garden in this organization. We are run by an elected board and you're welcome to run for the board, to come to our virtual board meetings, and of course to vote for board members. We are devoted to furthering food self-sufficiency. We are a community garden in many aspects. In addition to individual people like yourself who are gardening here, we have had and have community organizations such as Challenge Industries and Unity House, whose members have gardened in plots here at the garden. We have a food donation plot in which the food that we grow is donated to the local food pantries. We have participated in the Ithaca Parade and we have tabled at the May plant sale. So in many respects, we are a community garden. The garden started way back in the 70s across the highway when a handful of people got permission to garden in a private plot of land. When that was no longer feasible, the gardeners applied for and won a grant in which the city used to purchase this land from NYSEG back in 1982. So we've been gardening here since 1982 and plan to be here for many more years. What do we have? What do we offer gardeners here at the community garden? Many things we offer. We offer, in addition to your plot, we have a watering system. We have manure that will be delivered hopefully next week. We have compost that we make here at the garden. We have a porta potty over here. We have a big pile of wood chips that are brought to the garden for our use. We have 2 sheds full of tools as well as a many wheelbarrows here at the garden. So we have a lot to offer here. We have a listserv so that members can find out important news about the garden. But the most important thing that we feel that we have to give to gardeners here are our community of fellow gardeners. Which brings me to talk a little bit about the coronavirus and how it is affecting our gardeners. Unless you are giving a orientation talk to new members, we strongly urge all gardeners to use a mask when they are gardening here and to respect social distancing. We have a hand washing station here on both sides of the garden. We have disinfectant for people to use to clean tools, tool handles, the water spigots, the locks, anything that we touch, we have disinfectant and towels that people can use to clean that. We will have people coming hopefully once a day to help clean tools, to keep tools clean here at the garden. In addition to these hand washing stations, we also have a hand washing station at the porta potty. So we hope that everybody will respect social distancing and take really good care to keep everybody safe at the community garden. Talk about your plot and what are the expectations that we have for all gardeners here at the garden. We are an all organic garden, so that means no herbicides or pesticides. And also, please, no plastic mulch. We did have plastic mulch once, and the hot sun breaks it down into the little tiny pieces that get into the soil. So please don't mulch with plastic. Keep your plots weeded and productive. We take this very seriously at the garden. When you have a plot and it gets to be full of weeds, those weeds will migrate to your neighbor's plot. In addition, we are going to have neighbors here at the garden, next to the garden, and we want to look good. In the city, we want to look good for the city too. The city has complained about some weedy overgrown plots. We have a cutoff point of May 31st when we expect everybody to at least start to garden, start to break ground on their plot. We have a waiting list of gardeners who are waiting for a plot. So please, we really take it very seriously. We want everybody to keep their plots weeded and productive and used. We do have plot monitors to come and check on people's plots to make sure that's been done. We have had overgrown plots in the past that we've given away to other gardeners. So please take really good care of your plot. In addition to your plot, keep the areas and paths around your plot clear of rocks and debris and weeds. There are special places where we could put rocks and the weeds and debris. We have compost areas, and we will show you the compost areas during this orientation. So we hope everybody takes really good care of their plots. It's a really important thing. Let me talk a little bit about watering here. We have water spigots, free water spigots at the community garden. Water is our biggest expense. So please be very sparing when you use water. When you water your plot, water only where the roots are, where your plants are, instead of aerial spraying your entire plot. Mulch your garden so that it'll keep the moisture from evaporating. Water either early in the morning or in the evening. That will reduce evaporation as well. And put a lot of good food into your garden, manure and compost. That will reduce the need for a lot of watering. And also, finally, check the weather report to make sure that it's not going to rain during the next day or two, so you might not have to water to begin with. So again, please be really sparing in your use of water, and when you're done watering, turn the handle of the water spigot down to close the water. And we will have hoses here, and when you're finished watering, coil up the hose right next to where the hydrant is, so that the next person can use the hose. It'll be all ready to go. Let me talk a little bit about work at the garden. We normally have work days the last Saturday of the month, and it's a pretty big group of people who do really important work to maintain the garden. Obviously, we're not going to be able to do that this year because of the coronavirus, but we will be identifying particular jobs that gardeners can do. We will send that off in our listserv to gardeners, possibly in a spreadsheet. We will identify jobs that need to be done that can be done by one person alone, or by two people, or by a family group if you live in a family group. There are just many different jobs at the garden. We know that everybody's expected to do at least 4 hours of work. There are some gardeners who do put many hours of work into the garden. Some of the jobs, I'll list some of the jobs that we can do at the garden is to patch up holes in the fence, to turn over the compost piles, to clean out the sheds and clean the tools, to do fundraising at the garden. The rainwater conservation system that we set up last year has been set up by volunteers. That's a result of all volunteer work. Of course, mowing needs to be done as well. Those are just some of the very many jobs that we need to do to keep the garden in good shape. You could also run for the board or attend our board meetings virtually. And we discuss a lot of important things: planning of the garden, budget matters, fundraising, applying for grants. There are many ways that gardeners can plug in at the community garden. Let me see if I have other things too. We also have, one important thing is that the garden's land is owned by the city, and we lease the land, but we will have neighbors adjacent to the garden. The Cayuga Medical Center has bought the land adjacent to the community garden. They are going to be putting in some buildings, storefronts, a clinic. Of course, everything is delayed because of the coronavirus. Only essential construction is being done at this point, but we will be having neighbors, and we've been negotiating with these neighbors, and we will also have a land swap where some of our land will be used by the Cayuga Medical Center developers, and in addition, on the railroad side here, we will have land to make up for that. What we will get out of this is some really wonderful things. We will have a new fence put up and a better watering system. So those are things to look forward to in the future. And in the meantime, we welcome your input and we welcome your participation in the community garden. We're glad that you're here, and I hope I covered everything. If I missed anything, there is a wonderful website that you could go to get lots of good information about the garden. And of course, really pay attention and read the emails that are sent out through our listserv. You can use the listserv yourself if you are going away for part of the summer and you want somebody to water your plot. People use the listserv for that. We will be, as I said, identifying jobs and important information through the listserv. So please pay attention to that. Again, thank you so much for gardening here at the community garden. To conclude, we will walk around and show you a little bit about the garden here. So the use of the sheds at the garden, gardeners, please remember that when you're finished gardening to lock the shed up so that all our tools will remain safe. You could ask around to see if anybody else is using the shed. If you're the last person using a shed, please lock it up. Put all your tools back where they belong. And clean out the tools too, that would be important. And remember to disinfect anything that you handle at the garden. That would be really good as well. Because of the coronavirus, we're asking gardeners to please bring their own gloves. If you have your own tools that you prefer to use, that would be good as well. But disinfect the tools and bring your own gloves when you garden here. This will be our food donation plot for donation to the food pantries around Ithaca, and you can do your work requirement working in this plot. We will hopefully have more manure here. This is the remnants of last year's manure. And over here is our compost area. And please bring only your weeds from your garden over here. Do not bring food scraps from home, and do not bring any garbage over here. Only the weeds from your plot. And look at the signs. There'll be signs saying no more in this area, but you can put it in that area. And we will work on this during work days. Volunteers will turn over these compost bins, and we will sift the remaining compost and put them in bags so that gardeners can use them on their plots. So garbage, if you have any garbage, any plastic plant containers, please bring them home and recycle them. Please don't leave any garbage here at the garden. That's really important because it just strains our ability to. We have lots of other things to do here. We don't want to have to deal with garbage. We do have a big pile of wood chips that the city has brought over there. You can use that to mulch in your plot, to put between your beds. And as I said before, we have a porta potty and a hand washing station. The hand washing station is really important these days because of the coronavirus. So you can use that when you finish gardening here. You can wash your hands.